Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are brand new here, welcome, and those of you returning, welcome back. My name's Alicia. I'm a 38-year-old single mom of 3 amazing teenagers, and I'm here to talk about all things cruising. So, the countdown has officially begun. I am 9 days away from my next solo Carnival cruise adventure. And honestly, this period of time is one of my favorite parts of the entire cruising experience. There's just something special and exciting about that final 10 days because the planning's mostly done, the anticipation starts building, and it just feels like everything's starting to feel real. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through my entire pre-cruise routine. That I'll start 7 to 10 days before embarking on my cruise. And it's everything that I personally do to prepare for a solo cruise before I leave home. So we're talking about confirming flights and hotels, reviewing my packing, checking the weather, making sure my electronics are organized. I'm just a little more mentally prepared, and even the little routines that help me reduce stress before travel day. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed before a cruise, or are you worried about forgetting something important, this video should help you feel much more prepared and a lot more at ease. And if you're planning on your own solo cruise soon, this is exactly the type of routine that can make embarkation day feel smooth and exciting instead of chaotic and overwhelming. So grab a coffee, relax. Let's start this countdown to cruise day. Okay, confirming flights and hotel. This is the very first thing that I will do, is confirming every reservation that I have. Even if I've checked them before, I'll still go through everything again because, as we know, travel issues happen. And I would much rather catch a problem now than panic while at the airport the day before cruising day. So I'll verify the flight numbers and flight times, all the confirmation numbers, the hotel reservation, cruise check-in to make sure that that's completed, which I will go over with you next week on what that looks like and how to do it. At least how it is with Carnival. The airport transportation, getting from the airport to the hotel to the cruise, and back again. And then, of course, all my boarding documents. I also want to make sure that any of my apps are updated for airlines, the hotel, and the cruise line, and make sure that my cruise documents are all downloaded offline. One thing that I have learned from traveling is that technology will fail at the worst possible moment. So I will keep screenshots. I usually will have a printed copy of everything, and I'll have a digital backup. So for solo cruisers especially, that preparation creates a peace of mind. There's nobody else that's carrying the responsibility for that trip. So having everything organized ahead of time makes a huge difference and lifts a huge weight off of your shoulders. I also make sure that I'm double checking the baggage policies, the flight layovers, and then the transportation timing between the airport, the hotel, and the cruise port. Because you never want embarkation day to feel rushed. Okay, about a week before the cruise, I'll start my final packing review. And at this point, I usually have most of my items gathered, but this is when I'll go through everything carefully. I'll make sure to ask myself, what is it that I actually need versus what am I packing just in case? Overpacking used to be one of my biggest cruise mistakes. And especially on solo cruises, I've learned simpler is just better. I've now started to lay everything out and divide it into categories. So that'll be your cruise outfits, your clothes for embarkation day, medication, electronics, your toiletries, any specialty items you need for your excursions that you may have booked, and then my documents. And then I'll also do a quick outfit check because cruise lines will have elegant nights, special themed nights, like Carnival has their 80s rock and glow. They have a white night. Um, and depending on what other ships you're on, what ship you're on, there may be another specialty theme or two. And then you've got your casual days, and you have your pool days, and then you have your excursion days. So I try to make sure everything coordinates together so that way I can mix and match instead of just overpacking. Shoes are another area where I've improved a lot over time. I used to bring way too many, so now I stick to a comfortable tennis shoe, sandals, sometimes a pair of flip-flops as well, and then a dressier option um, if I'm planning to do dinner down at the main dining room on Elegant Night. And that alone saves a ton of luggage space. So then I also need to look at things like liquids and will that get through security at the airport? Charging cables, a portable fan, any medication refills I might need, and then just travel size items. So 1 week out is usually the perfect time to catch those missing items before shipping becomes stressful or stores may sell out, especially if you're going toward during a really big cruising time. Okay, so then I start monitoring the weather. And I've already started doing that with the places that I'm going to be at during this trip. But I don't just look at the cruise destination. I have to look at everywhere that's involved. So that's my departure city, any layover cities, my embarkation port, and then the cruise destinations. Because weather can completely change your packing plans. Maybe the embarkation port is colder than what's expected. Maybe there's rain in the forecast. Possibly a destination that you're going to be going to is extremely humid. So all of those things require different needs. And I've learned that cruise weather can be very different from what people imagine. Even tropical destinations have chilly evenings, they could have windy sea days, or sudden rainstorms. I also like to pay attention to possible flight disruptions. If storms are predicted, I'll mentally prepare for delays and build a little bit of flexibility into my mindset. Travel becomes much less stressful when you expect that not everything is going to go perfectly. And I can say from personal experience, I have been reined in at a layover location and it's stressful. But when you have that flexibility in your mind, it makes it a lot less overwhelming for you. 1 week before the cruise, I'll also finalize my transportation plans. So that includes my rides to the airport, hotel shuttles, cruise port transportation, and then my return transportation after the cruise. Transportation issues can create massive stress if you wait until the very last minute. I like having my pickup times, my confirmation emails, addresses, and a backup all ready for me. And for solo travelers, this is especially important because you don't have another person to help manage those logistics for you. I also make sure I have important addresses directly into my phone. So that's the address for the cruise terminal, my hotel, the airport, and whatever transportation company I might be utilizing. And that way, if internet decides to become unreliable, I still have everything that's accessible to me. So now let's talk about electronics, because honestly, this part takes longer than people think. A week before the cruise, I start charging and organizing. I have my phone. If I choose to bring a tablet, if I'm bringing a special camera, portable chargers, headphones, smartwatch, and extra batteries. I also clear storage space on my devices because cruise content fills up storage fast, especially if you're going to do a vlog, taking photos, or like me, creating YouTube content. I will organize the charging cables, the adapters, the memory cards, the power banks, all into separate pouches. And one thing I've learned is that those darn tangled cords can be surprisingly frustrating when you're in a tiny cruise cabin. So keeping electronics organized makes life so much easier on board. I also make sure that I'm downloading playlists, podcasts, Netflix shows, maps, and my documents before leaving home. Cruise ship internet may not always be reliable, so offline entertainment can be incredibly useful. All right, also about a week before the cruise, I'll start preparing simple meals and travel snacks. Travel days can be very long, exhausting, and expensive. So having snacks ready will help with not only reducing stress, it'll save you some money and avoid those airport impulse spending. And I usually will prepare, maybe like a little protein snack. I always bring water flavoring packets. I don't like drinking regular water most of the time. Um, and then some easy travel foods, things that you can use easily with your hands. I also try to eat a little bit lighter and healthier before the cruise because, well, let's be honest, cruise food's coming and there's going to be plenty of it. So when I'm preparing meals ahead of time, that'll also help me avoid the I'm too busy to eat cycle during those final packing days and getting ready for my trip. This next one might sound kind of unexpected, but one of the most important parts of my pre-cruise routine is journaling. And about a week prior, I'll take some time to reflect on what am I looking to get from this trip? How am I wanting to feel? And what type of memories do I want to create? And solo cruising can be incredibly emotional in the best way. Sometimes a cruise will become rest or healing or adventure, even confidence building. It could even just be a personal transformation for you. I'm the type of person who likes to set intentions. So maybe my goal is to relax or to try a new experience. Maybe it's meeting new people, creating content, or maybe just giving me an opportunity to slow down mentally. Journaling kind of helps me shift out of that everyday stress and into a vacation mindset. And honestly, anticipation can be one of the best parts of traveling. I also really like to, in conjunction with the journaling, is reflect on previous cruise experiences. So I like to think about some of my favorite memories, maybe things that I've learned, mistakes that I want to avoid, and things that I just want to do differently this time. Every cruise teaches me something, whether it's a solo cruise, I'm with my family, I'm with friends. Sometimes it's practical, just pack lighter or arrive earlier or book the excursion sooner. Other times it can be emotional. Solo cruising has taught me confidence, independence, flexibility, and how important it is to enjoy experiences in the present moment. Looking back at past cruises also helps build excitement for the next adventure. I start imagining embarkation day, walking onto the ship, hearing the sail away music, and seeing the ocean again. And honestly, that excitement never gets old. Now, one thing I try to remind myself for every single cruise is don't rush through the anticipation. Sometimes we get so focused on the checklists and the packing and the schedules and preparing that we forget to actually enjoy the excitement. That week before a cruise should feel fun. That's part of the vacation experience too. So I try to relax, watch other cruise videos, listen to music, plan out my outfits, and sometimes I'll go in and like get my nails done or do a spa day prior just to get me in the mood. And simply enjoying that knowing an adventure is close, that mindset matters so much. And the excitement and gratitude completely changes the energy of the entire trip. So, like I said, the countdown's officially on. In a short 9 days, I will be getting onto the ship. I leave in 8 days, and I'm really getting excited for the excitement building. So I hope this video gave you some helpful ideas for your own pre-cruise routine, and maybe it helped you feel a little more organized before your next sailing. So if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, because we've got embarkation prep, cruise travel days, ship tours, and plenty more cruise content coming very soon. And in your comments below, definitely tell me, what is your biggest pre-cruise ritual about a week before you're sailing? So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video as embarkation day gets even closer. Have a great day, everyone.